Hey everyone, Parallel here. Welcome back to Star Trek Online. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Sompek Blast Assault. This is a brand new weapon that we just got as part of the most recent Arena of Sompek weekend event. It's actually ongoing right now. But if you've grinded that event for the last 3 days, then you will be rewarded with this weapon, and you can see it here on the screen right now. So basically I just wanted to show the visuals of the weapon, see what the special effects look like, take a look at the actual, primary, secondary fire, see what the melee does, if it's anything interesting. Yeah, just test it out in actual combat, see if it's any good or not. I'm not a huge fan of the Blast Assault weapon type in general, so yeah, we're going to have to see if this actually is any good. So let's head out to Kobali Prime here and give it a test. Now, I also want to talk about in this video, after taking a look at this weapon is done, I want to actually talk about a new upcoming feature that is coming to Star Trek Online called re-engineering. Something that is very, very exciting. So I want to talk about that just a little bit at the end of the video, but now let's take a look at this weapon. So first thing, you can claim this weapon if you've done the event. You can claim this weapon through the Reputation store. You go to the weekend event, and you can claim it on all of your alts. So it is an account-wide unlock. And interestingly enough, I don't know if this happened to anyone else, but when I completed the event this week, this weekend, it didn't actually consume 3 of my weekend event vouchers to get the weapon. So it was basically free. You can see here I still have some weekend event vouchers here left over. So that was odd. I don't know if that was intended or not. I'm assuming it wasn't, but typically you have to spend 3 of the weekend event vouchers in this store to unlock that account-wide. But for whatever reason, that didn't happen this time. It just unlocked all by itself, so there you go. But yeah, let's go ahead and mouse over here and actually read the tooltip. So yeah, Sompek Blast Assault. It is... The primary fire is inductive bolt setting. It's electrical-based damage, so I'm assuming this is pretty similar to the Sompek Pulse Wave Assault that we got, I think, a while back in one of the previous Sompek events. It seems to be fitting along with the same theme of, being electrical-based, since, we had that Sompek Lightning module as well, the kit module, so... that seems to be, the theme as far as Sompek goes, given how the event works with the lightning coming down on you. So, seems to make sense. But electrical damage is pretty cool. I don't know of too many enemies that have electrical resistance, so it is pretty nice in that respect. So electrical damage does... applies an inductive scattering to the target, so repels and damages multiple foes near the target. I think this proc was also shared by the Pulse Wave, Sompek Pulse Wave as well. It also does electrical damage over time. But it doesn't... I think it's single target though, unfortunately. It doesn't... the Pulse Wave is actually a cone, which is pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed the Pulse Wave. Nice little twist on the Pulse Wave weapon type. So the secondary fire of this weapon is Inductive Energy Blast. It is an exposed attack and is a targeted AoE, which sounds exactly like a regular regular Blast Assault, which is unfortunate. One nice thing about the Sompek Pulse Wave that we got last time is that the secondary attack was changed up a little bit, so it was actually an exploit attack, that's pretty cool. But this appears to be pretty much a standard Blast Assault, just that it's electrical-based damage with the extra little electrical proc there that you can do with the repel and damage over time. Alright, so let's check this thing out in combat. Let's just pull it out here again and just get another look up close. So yeah, it does actually look similar to the Sompek, the Pulse Wave. Very similar visual style, and it actually looks really cool. I like the glowing LEDs they got here going all throughout the weapon. I'm not a huge fan of the assault weapons just in general, just how they are held by the character. It doesn't seem very Star Trek-ish, but that's just a general comment. All the you know, the blast assault weapons look like that, have that holster style. But otherwise, it looks pretty cool. It has a, you know, it has a nice glowing effect. It's got actual animation to it. So let's actually see what the firing of the weapon looks like. We'll take a look at the primary and secondary fires. Oh, and we do have melee here. Let's see what the melee is. Inductive restoration. Oh, interesting. It's a heal and a repel. A melee attack from a weapon that is a heal. Okay. That's very unique, I have to say. So heals 102 hit points. Of course, I only have the weapon at Mark 12. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Blast Assault, so I didn't want to put in the materials to upgrade this, not knowing if I would actually like it or not. But let's see. So it does give you some regeneration and hit points and repel. Okay, so let's just try this, like, just by itself here. Let's see what it does. Ah. That is actually pretty cool. So, yeah, so while the primary and secondary fires aren't very unique, this melee is very unique. Interesting, interesting. Let's check that out for sure. Let's put my two teammates on passive here. I would actually like to try, you know, taking some damage. Of course it fails. I'd actually like to try taking some damage here and seeing how much this heals. It healed for 200. That's actually, I mean, not bad. Okay, let's do this. Here's the primary fire. Pew pew. That seems pretty solid. Pretty standard primary fire. Let's take a look at the secondary fire here. That was the secondary fire. And you can see one of the big drawbacks of the Blast Assault is the super long cooldown. There's another secondary fire, but the secondary fire just has a super long cooldown. Probably one of the biggest issues with the Blast Assault, honestly, and this seems to share that downside. Yeah, I'm thinking it could work with Deadly Intent. Might be worth a try. Let's try on this guy here. So if we do the secondary fire. Yeah, so it works okay with Deadly Intent. You can get, you know, that's one of the better kit modules for helping out with the long delay on a secondary fire. Which of course works great with the, you know, with the insanely OP, the Boolean cannon, so. But I have to say, I mean, this is only a Mark 12, very rare. It's doing decent enough damage, so, I mean, that's, you know, Blast Assaults do decent damage. It's just a matter of having that long cooldown on the secondary fire and not having an AoE on the primary, like the Pulse Wave does. Because Pulse Wave kind of has its own niche as, you know, the best up close AoE damage weapon. So, and this, you know, Blast Assaults just don't have that little niche that sets them apart from all the other weapons. Secondary fire does seem really nice though. It's just that longer cooldown. Okay, let's see if we can get some guys to respawn. We'll kill a few more. But, yeah, I mean, it seems like a pretty average weapon as far as as far as it goes. The melee seems to be the most unique thing about it. And having a heal... You know, I didn't really test that. I'm going to test this a little bit more here, because having that heal on like a tactical character with, you know, not so many healing options could be pretty decent, honestly. And it's on a pretty short cooldown for a heal as well. Okay, good. We got some respawns back here. I was wondering what was taking so long. I'm going to do this again and take some damage.
Enemy targets on sensor. Flanking damage detected.
You can see there the damage over time from the lightning is not bad. It's actually pretty decent proc.
Flanking damage detected.
Okay, so we're getting hurt here. Let's go ahead and use the heal. 102 heal.
Enemy target.
Take some more damage.
Personal shield losing power.
There we go. Let's do the heal. So you can see there when my teammate healed me, it healed for about 304. So it's about a third of a medical tricorder heal. And that's not good. Res me, res me. But still, I mean, it's a small heal, but it's kind of cool just to have that as a option. Like I said, on like a tactical character or something. I'm kind of curious. You know what this? I actually thinking about this now. A good use for this weapon. This might be a good weapon to just like put on your like a bridge officer or something. You can see the proc of the lightning going off there. It does do a little bit of an AoE damage. Let's go and do the heal. Do the heal one more time. I don't think it does. Let's see, test the knockback here. It didn't seem to knock back. I thought I had a repel as part of it. Yeah, it does say it has a repel. Come back here. If it does, it's very, very small. So not much on the repel, but still, having that heal, that's kind of cool. Okay, let's go ahead and do buff up totally here, and then... Yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's pretty much like a standard Blast Assault, but the electricity proc is nice, and the, little heal on the melee is kind of unique. So, I mean, it's worth it. It's worth picking up, I'd say. Like I was saying, this could be pretty cool if you actually just throw this on like a bridge officer, I think would be the kind of the ideal use for it. They can, you know, use the secondary fire to expose the targets for you, and then you can use your exploit attacks, so... So it seems like it'd be a good fit on that aspect. And I'm kind of curious if the bridge officers would use the melee attack at all to like as a heal. I doubt they're that smart, but all right. So I think that's enough of this weapon. I mean, I would say it's probably slightly better than your average Blast Assault, just because of the the heal as the melee and the electricity procs make it slightly better. But I'm still not just a huge fan of this archetype of weapon, so what can I say? I give it a pretty average score. You know, if you've done the weekend event, though, I'd say it's definitely worth just to pick it up for the fun of it. Okay, so yeah, that is the Sompek Blast Assault, everybody. Let me know what you think of this weapon down in the comments below. I'm pretty interested to hear what the community has to say about this thing. But yeah, what can I say? At best, I give it an average rating. Slightly better than an average Blast Assault, but, you know, just the limitations of the archetype are still there, so it's not really enough to overcome that. I would definitely recommend the Sompek Pulse Wave over this weapon for sure. The Pulse Wave was a much better improvement, I think. Alright, so that pretty much covers the weapon, but like I said, I wanted to also talk about a very exciting new feature that's coming, and that is the re-engineering. This is really exciting, guys. I don't know if you've seen this, but Cryptic posted this on their blog. They posted a dev blog on this a few days ago, and this is very, very exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the blog here. Hold on. Let me bring up that window. There we go. And so let's just read through this real quick, because this is a new feature coming very soon. Supposedly this is coming in the next, the major content patch for the anniversary event, which is probably, like the end of January, maybe early February, around there. So it's coming very soon. And this looks amazing. So let's read this through just real quick here. So this is off the developer blog. Have you ever created a beam array and spent resources upgrading it only to end up getting a mod that doesn't quite fit the build you're going for? Let me answer that question. Hell yes. All the freaking time. In fact, let me go back to, I'll just quickly show you here. This happens all the time to me. Like, in almost all of my builds, I always have at least a few weapons that are not perfect mods. In fact, I would say only I have 1 or 2 weapons in each of my builds, like for each damage type, that are actually 100% perfect mods. I'd say at least half the other ones always have at least 1 or 2 bad mods, but I didn't have the resources to go and re-upgrade a whole new weapon up to that point, so I just said, forget it, I'll just use this. Like, for example, this one I moused over right here. You can see it has that little crit H on there. I don't want that crit H on there. So this new re-engineering feature that Cryptic's going to release is going to solve this problem. It's going to give you a way to change mods on your weapons. That is awesome. That is fantastic. All right, so let's go back to the blog. All right, so it says, let's continue here. We have been working on working away on a new feature that will allow you to re-roll certain mods, granting you the ability to finally craft and modify certain pieces of equipment to your own satisfaction. And you can see the little picture there, and there's also a GIF down here. I'll zoom that out in a minute here. But in order to re-engineer a piece of equipment, we're introducing a new resource into the game, Salvage. Salvage is rewarded to captains from salvaging equipment obtained from loot drops they receive. So yes, there will be a new type of currency, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about that in all honesty, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's continue on. A new context action can be taken after highlighting a particular piece of loot, so basically you right-click on it, and there'll be a new menu option to salvage it. Salvaging a piece of equipment will destroy it and reward the amount of salvage based on the equipment's mark and quality. Yeah, so based on things I've seen from Tribble and on Reddit, this can vary widely. Like, it can get anywhere from like a Mark II, very rare, gives you like 50 salvage or something, up to quite a bit more than that, even up to like 1,000 or more salvage for high mark or rarity items. I'm kind of curious just like what Mark 12 greens and blues and purples will give, because those are kind of the common things that you get just from random drops during queues or during patrol missions, whatever you're doing. You usually get a fair amount of those during those missions, so I'm curious to see how much salvage those will give, just like the typical things that you'll be salvaging. Okay, let's continue on. The cost of re-engineering a piece of equipment will be dependent on how many available mods you wish to re-roll, with the cost per mod decreasing as you opt into additional mod randomization. We're still fine-tuning the numbers, and we'll be looking for feedback from Tribble to finalize the exact amounts. Hopefully they will take into account some feedback from Tribble. I really hope this doesn't turn out to be too grindy to get the amount of salvage that you need. Okay, so going on, it says, with the re-engineering system, we've taken an opportunity to create new epic mods. So weapons, shields, engines, deflectors, secondary deflectors, and ground armor have all received an assortment of new epic mods. That is really, really cool. And we'll talk about that. You can actually see them in the GIF there, but when I zoom that in, we'll talk about a few of those new ones that are coming. We've chosen to maintain the existing epic mod as the default mod, so that's the accuracy damage that you always get on your weapons. And then you'll have to re-roll in order to switch out of that. Okay. Alright, so just to continue on, it says, certain types of equipment can be re-engineered. Now, they give a very vague list here. It just says warp cores. Oh, sorry, it cannot be re-engineered. So it says warp cores, consoles, kit frames, reputation items, and featured episode rewards. And honestly, from what I've been hearing from Reddit and from the Tribble, is that it's very inconsistent what can be re-rolled and what can't. There actually are some warp cores that can be re-rolled, even though it says they can't be. And there are a lot of there are some reputation items that can be re-rolled, some that can't. So it's very inconsistent as far as what can be re-rolled or not. So hopefully, this will be the first iteration, I guess, of this system. So we'll have to see how it works. But hopefully, Cryptic will go through their historical database and clean up all the rest of these items so they can all be re-engineered at some point. That would be ideal. So yeah, the last paragraph here is just saying, we hope that re-engineering will be a way for a neophyte and veteran captains alike to better create equipment that matches their particular playstyle and builds. And what can I say? That I wholeheartedly agree with. I really think this system is a huge step in the right direction. This has gotten me excited about Star Trek Online that like nothing else has in a long time. I mean, this is something that I really feel that I'm looking forward to. And that's something I've not felt, honestly, since like season 13, season 13.5. Has been, just seems like there hasn't been anything exciting or unique in Star Trek Online. And finally, this system really has a lot to offer. It'll bring a lot of ways to optimize and customize your character. I think this is fantastic. So I just zoomed into this GIF here. So you can see it's right under the upgrade tab, so it's like when you're upgrading, you can switch down to the re-engineering tab, and then basically you slot a weapon in there, or whatever item you're wanting to re-roll, or re-engineer as it's called, and it will show basically 5 columns. You can see the 5 columns there. You click on each one to unlock it, and then you can re-roll. I have to say, it's kind of funny. It actually looks almost exactly like a slot machine. I'm pretty amused that Cryptic made it look like a slot machine, because that's basically what it is. It's basically gambling to improve your weapon, I guess. Now, one thing I should mention is that even though the GIF here is showing them unlocking all of the mods, you don't have to do that. You can only, you can choose to unlock only one mod and just re-roll that one. And in fact, based on what I'm hearing from Tribble, that is the best way to do it, because if you unlock multiple mods, you can see the salvage cost goes up each time you unlock more, and the dilithium cost goes up as well. So basically what I've been hearing, from feedback from people who have used this so far, is that if you just want to re-roll 1 or maybe 2 mods, it's not too grindy or too expensive. But anything more than that, and it very quickly becomes insanely expensive in order to re-roll. So hopefully Cryptic will take mind of that. Maybe have a diminishing cost the more you re-roll or something like that. Or maybe some kind of RNG protection, so you don't keep re-rolling into the same mod, or something like that. Because this system, you can re-roll the same mod you already have, right? So, I mean, it's completely random from the pool of mods, including the one you already have. So, it does have some limitations. But Cryptic says they are willing to listen to feedback, so I hope that's true, and I hope they will make adjustments as needed. But isn't that awesome? That is so great. I mean, that really makes it so you can customize your build exactly how you want it. If you want to like stack up crit D and you just want to make a whole massive stack of crit D weapon, you go right ahead. You can do that. You can also, I think this is going to be really great for drain builds. I know there are a lot of people out there who love their drain builds, and I think you'll be able to, since you can also re-roll. I'm going to go ahead and. Well, actually, I'm not going to close that quite yet, but you can go ahead and re-roll like deflectors, engines, and shields, and secondary deflectors as well. I hear you can reroll, and just think you can reroll and put like all Drain X in there. That would be sweet. You could have a really solid Drain build. So I really think that you could customize this any way you want. You could stack up EPG. You could really, I think it actually does, fulfill the goal they're seeking out here. It does let you customize your gear specifically to the build that you want to go for. So yeah, this is great. And before I close this GIF, I just wanted to point out, you can see at the far right column that they are unlocking here is actually the Epic mod. And you can see there are new Epic mods there. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, they added 2 new Epic mods that are actually better than the current one as far as damage output goes for weapons. So right now you know how Epic mods work, right? You've got the accuracy damage is the Epic mod, and that's what it always is for all weapons, at least currently. And I'm not sure if you know this, but it actually is not just accuracy damage, it's actually accuracy damage. All the Epic mods have like a hidden extra damage mod in there, so it's actually accuracy damage, which is pretty cool. Now, Cryptic did say that when you re-roll to one of the different mods, it will also maintain that extra hidden damage mod, so you're not losing that. But if you look at this GIF, you can see there's like accuracy 2, there's a crit D, crit H, there's a crit D damage if you see that one. So crit D damage would be better than accuracy damage. So that, I think a lot of min-maxers will be going for that one, including myself. I'd like to switch my accuracy damage to a crit D damage. And I believe there's also one other one that's a damage upgrade, which is the crit D2. That would be sweet. So you could stack up a lot of crit D onto your weapon, man. You could have all 4 mods be crit D, and then you could have 2 crit D as the epic. How sweet would that be? So you could stack up a sick amount of crit D onto one weapon. Or if you just wanted to go all damage, you could do the 4 damage mods and then a crit D damage for the epic mod. That would be like optimal. So there's lots of good opportunity for just optimizing, even for min-maxers. There's the system brings something for them. The system also brings something for, honestly, even for non-min-maxers, just for people who want to customize their build, even if you're not just looking for damage. Like I said, if you're going for drain or for EPG or for whatever it is, there's lots of ways to customize your build. So what can I say? This system, I think, looks fantastic. It really looks good. Now, one thing I did want to comment on is, I'm not sure why Cryptic did this, but why are they adding a new currency, this new salvage currency? I think this is the only thing that has me a little bit worried, because this could really make it into a grind if it's too hard to get salvage. I was really hoping, that they could use an existing currency, like for example, gold press latinum. This would be perfect to give a purpose, a function, a reason to collect gold press latinum. If you could use this to re-roll the mods on your gear, how perfect would that be? And it'd be perfect even from the perspective of the system. It even looks like a slot machine, right? It's like you're gambling on your weapons, and what better use than to have gold press latinum for that? So I think that's my biggest downside or complaint about this system, is just that it's bringing in another currency. And Star Trek Online does not need a new currency. I mean, look at all these freaking currencies we already have. There's too many already. We don't need another one. So I would have loved to seen just having that use gold press latinum and actually have a use for that, even if it was a little bit more expensive. But because it just would be so much better to use an existing currency. I think that's kind of my main issue with the system. But it brings so much. I mean, I even like that I think this will also raise the floor for new players as well, because it'll make getting those perfect mods much easier, or much more possible for new players, and will allow them to bring them up to a lot of the top end players right now who already have perfect mods on all their weapons. They've already spent the hundreds of millions to upgrade everything, and they already have perfect mods, whereas a lot of players who are either new or, like myself, don't have enough resources to get perfect mods on every weapon. This will give a method to be able to do that, and it raises the floor, so it brings all the new players more closer to the higher performing players, which I think is very much needed in this game. And it does, I guess it also raises the ceiling slightly, only in that like I said, some of those epic mods are actually better than the accuracy damage one currently, so that is actually technically raising the ceiling, where the top end players could change that over to a crit D damage or crit D2, and that would be technically better than the current weapon with the accuracy damage on the epic. So that could be it could be seen as actually raising the ceiling slightly. I don't think it'll make a huge difference, but it will raise the floor a lot for new players. So I think that's a really great system, guys. So this has me really excited. And it's another thing, let me know down in the comments below what you think of this new re-engineering system. You can bet for sure when this comes out with the anniversary update, I will definitely do an in-depth video. We'll take a look at about what can be upgraded, what can't. Right now it seems to be very inconsistent what I'm hearing from Tribble. Certain weapons can, certain can't. There are a lot of the older weapons that have dual proc mods, not mods, but tool procs on them, like polarized disruptors cannot be upgraded. So it's very weird on what can and can't. In fact, it's kind of funny. I think what it might be, I know that older weapons actually sacrificed one of their mods in order to be in order to have that second proc, whereas newer weapons don't do that. Like the what's the phasers? Is it the pulsed phasers? Is that what it is? I don't have any of those, but those have dual proc, and even things like corrosive plasma, those have dual procs. But those weapons didn't actually sacrifice a mod in order to get that dual proc. It's like that dual proc is just inherent to the weapon. They still have the same number of mods as normal weapons. So I think that's the differentiating thing, is where the older dual proc weapons can't be re-engineered, but the newer dual proc weapons that actually have the same number of mods as a normal rarity weapon those can be re-engineered. It's just very, very weird. And some reputation items can be upgraded, some can't. Some warp cores can, some can't. It's just very inconsistent right now. So so that we'll all have to take a look at that when the system actually comes out. And like I said, I'll definitely be doing a video to take a look at that. But in any case, that's the re-engineering system, guys. It looks very, very exciting. Like I said, this is something that has me looking forward to the next update of Star Trek Online, something that I've not felt in a very long time. So I'm very, very excited, guys. I hope you are too. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This re-engineering system could reinvigorate a lot of players back into Star Trek Online. I really hope it does. So, but I think that pretty much covers it, guys. So yep, that is the Sompek Blast Assault weapon, and that is the that's the re-engineering system coming up soon. Look forward to a video on that. Oh, just let me quickly mention before I do hop off here. Since I just mentioned the event, the Sompek event that's going on right now this weekend, there's also another event going on right now, and that is this one here, the featured series event. These come around only very, very rarely, and what it does is it allows you to get some of the unique rewards from old episodes that used to be featured episodes. It allows you to get those special items again. And so I definitely recommend taking advantage of it. Let me see if does it tell you which missions it is. Yes, so you don't actually have to do all of these, but you do have to do Knight of the Comet will give you the Ophidian Cane. You do have to do the Darkness Before the Dawn to get the Riemann Bridge Officer. I highly recommend doing this one. This one you have to do Boldly They Rode. Yes, you have to listen to Kurland here, but this one will give you the Shard of Possibilities, and that is this little gem here that I use on like every one of my ground builds. This is the one that brings in your 2 duplicates of yourself. And you can have a little fun, bring that in with your security escorts, and you can have yourself a nice little army of characters following you around. It's a hell of a lot of fun, so definitely make sure to pick yourself up the Shard of Possibilities during this event. And what's the last thing you can get? Oh yeah, the Breen Bridge Officer. You have to do cold storage in order to get that. So definitely play through those episodes. While this event is going on, you can see the dates here. It's going from January 11th through the 25th. So you have another couple of weeks, not quite, to be able to do this. Yep, but pick those up, especially if you're a new player. Make sure to pick up at least the Shard of Possibilities. That is, I think, the best thing out of the bunch here. The Ophidian Cane is kind of cool, a little more situational, but you can pick it up if you want. It's fun. The 2 Bridge Officers are kind of... they're decent ground officers. If you're looking for ground officers, they're good. The Breen officer is pretty good on the ground, but otherwise they're not super great. They don't have any unique space traits or anything like that. But just wanted to mention that because I don't think I'll be doing a separate video on that or anything, but I did want to mention that because there's another event going on along with the weekend event, so take advantage of that. The featured series events get those special rewards. It's very cool. Alright guys, so that pretty much covers it. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.